Hello everyone, today I'm gonna show you how you can use the theme in any React application. As you see, that's my theme toggle button, and there is three consequences. We have the light theme, dark theme, and the system theme. So by default it will take the system theme, whatever theme you choose for your system. For me, I'm using the dark one, so it's take everything in dark theme. If I want to change it in light, just click on the light. As you see, it's reflecting all the pages, whatever the pages I am choosing to create. And if I want to put in dark, it will go back to the dark. And if we just go light again and just try to use the system one, it will take the system one. So we're gonna build it, we're gonna use the theme using the Tailwind CSS, and we're gonna use that shadcn UI. So to implement that one, of course, we're gonna use that React framework, and the framework we're going to use is the Next.js from the React. So just open any of the empty folder in your terminal, then you need to run this command, npx, it will be create next app, and I want to get the latest feature, so I will just put that flag of at latest, and now let's put that as theme test. So now of course here there will be several pop-ups to ensure whatever the things you want to get by default. Like that, if you want to use the TypeScript, yes, I like the slint, Tailwind CSS, and I will use the source directory, app router, and other things. So now it will just take a couple of seconds or minute according to your network services. Then it's gonna install everything, all the dependencies to run your application. As you see, everything is started perfectly. So now either you can go like cd on that application and then open from here, or you can do one thing to just go in your folder and then just open that in your favorite code editor, whatever the editor you want. So I am using the VS Code Studio. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just run that code dot, and it will open inside my VS Code. So that is the application here. So now by default we're gonna get lots of things to run any of our applications. So first of all, let's run it in the localhost 3000, and to just run it we need to just put that npm run dev, and whatever you're gonna see at the first glimpse, like from the default application, whatever it will come in the localhost 3000, it gonna appear from here, and pretty much be responsible. This file gonna render whatever the things inside here, it gonna just show in the first page which gonna render it. And also, as you see, we have that our layout which gonna render that each and every single pages as a children, and then it gonna pass it there. And we have that global css to just use the Tailwind CSS all the platforms, and we have the tailwind.config.ts to give the maximum effort to use the Tailwind CSS in our application. So now as you see, it's running in the localhost 3000, and all the other things you're getting by default, and this is coming out from this file, which is the page.tsx, the root file of our application. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna remove everything from the main, and then I'm gonna just type a p tag, which will be that theme test, just to see is appearing or not. As you see, our theme test is available here. Now what I want to because we need to make one actually the header, so what I will do is create a components, and here I'm gonna create a header first, header.tsx rafce. So now this header I want it to be appearing every single pages. So what I'm gonna do in the layout, as you see, this is my layout portion, and inside the body every other things is rendering as the children. So what I'm gonna do, before the children I will pass the header, so all the pages will adopt the header in a perfect way. As you see, that looks good, but there is some kind of different, like the class name is available which is coming from this file. So I'm gonna just remove by keeping this tree of that, and I'm gonna remove every other thing. So now it's time to build our header, because as you know, from in the header we're gonna have all other things. So first thing first, it will be the top div of the header. So give a class name. By default it will be order with full, and I'm gonna just give a border be 1 pixel, so it will give that border bottom as 1 pixel. As you see, this is slightly border is appearing here. So now we're gonna modify that one. So first thing first, I want to put it inside a container, so that's way it gonna be looks perfectly smooth. So this one we're gonna implement that later. First let's just I'm gonna get a link, and in that link I'm gonna like get that theme master, and also we need to import that link from the next link. Okay, it's imported, and also need to get that href which gonna take us to the home. So now to implement that one, give some class name. I'm gonna make it as uppercase, and the font it will be a semi-bold. Oops, it will be semi-bold. And then I'm gonna make it is underline, and also I'm gonna give a decoration of 1 pixel to just get nice little line. And also I'm gonna make underline offset of 2. Let's save it. Okay, this looks cool. And one more thing I want to do it is that whenever I'm gonna hover the text, it will be blue of 600. And now this entire div, because I want to wrap it in the container, but container I'm gonna create later on. So first thing first, I'm gonna just put it inside the div, and this div gonna be responsible to create the other design. So I'm gonna put a class name which gonna be max width of screen axle, and just put it in MX Auto. And also I'm gonna put that height, and let's put that flex item center, justify between. As you see, our header is almost ready. So now this is the portion where I just create the logo, and there will be another div where will be that like what you call that link portion will be there, and there will be another like I'm gonna get a p tag, and there will be that button to create that other things. So first I'm gonna create that the navigation. So I'm gonna just take that inside an array, so const navigation, and now here I'm gonna like get that as a title which gonna be as home, and also href it gonna be /home. So that will be my navigation link item on the navbar. So as you see, I have that 5 items here. So now I can map that 5 items in my application. So where I'm gonna map it, as you see, this will be for the navigation item. So now I'm gonna get that navigation.map, and I will take just the item, and for each item I'm gonna return a link. So that link, and first I need to define the key. Oops, it will be the key, and that key it will be item dot, I'm just put this as a title, and that href it will be item dot href. So now here I need to put the text, so it will be item dot title. So now you see all the title is already up here. So in that div I need to just put some class name. I'm gonna make it hidden by default for the responsiveness, and whenever it will hit the MD screen it will be inline flex. And also I'm gonna make it item center. I'm gonna give a gap of 7. Okay, so I think yeah, now it looks pretty much better. And also I need one more thing. I want to get as a self-closing span tag to generate the highlighter at the bottom. So for that I'm gonna put a class name. It will be width, it gonna be take as full width, and height it gonna take as 1 pixel. Okay, and it will be inline of flex of course, and I'm gonna make it in absolute, and from the bottom it will be 0, left it will be 0. Let's just see if it's appearing or not. Okay, I need to give a background bj black just to show you that okay, it's actually not coming yet, because I need to make this div as relative. So it will be relative. As you see, that is now over here. So by default it will not be here. So what I'm gonna do in the meantime, I'm gonna make it translate x, it will be -100% to take it to the left. You can also make that a little bit more. So now this relative div, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make it as a group, and also I'm gonna make it overflow hidden. So as you see, it's not appearing anymore. So I will write a condition, and that gonna be whenever in the group, I'm gonna make a hover. The translation, it will be x, it will be 0, and also the duration, it will be just let's give 300. Let's see. Now as you see, whenever I'm going there, that's working. So keep it in that way. Now we're gonna go with the button to create our theming convention, and to do that I want to go with that shadcn UI. So why I'm using that one, this is actually not a library. If you're going to the documentation, here is written, this is not a component library. It's a collection of reusable components that you can copy and paste into your application. So this is the best thing, because you don't need to use any of the dependency like shadcn dependency in your like package.json. It's just a plain code it's using. So I'm gonna just show you how you can install and use. It's very simple. Okay, so we're gonna use for the Next.js, and this the command line. If you doesn't have any application yet, you can create with the shadcn UI from the beginning, but we already created, so I'm gonna just copy that. And by the way, you can use any of the package manager you're using. So let's get another terminal, and I'm gonna paste it here. So now once you just enter that one, it will ask us several things, like if you want to use the TypeScript, it's recommended. I'm gonna use it, and it's a default variable and New York variable. I'm gonna just get New York, and also I'm gonna get that neutral. And now that global CSS is actually apt for this global.css, but in our application we are maintaining a source, then app, then it will be it will be globals.css. Okay, and now the CSS, okay, it will be yes. And now this tailwind config, it will not the JS, it's a TS file, so it will be tailwind.config.ts. okay, yeah, it will get the components. Okay, everything is right, just proceed. So now it will install its required dependencies to create all other things, because later on what we can actually do is to initialize any shadcn UI. So as you see, it's successfully installed, and this is the main part. You need to just check that components.json is available or not. So now we can use that shadcn UI. So first of all, we want to use that to create that theme. Okay, so let's go to the components. As you see, that's the theming. And now for the theming, we can go with so many of the default value, but let's go with and explore a bit. And I would love to use the dark mode. So that dark mode, it will be responsible for the Next.js dark theme. So now first thing first, I need to install that Next themes here. So let's install that one. And after installing the Next themes, we have this, like you see, the components theme provider.tsx. So we need to create a component, and so that's gonna be here. So I'm gonna give a name of that theme provider.tsx rafce. Oops. Okay, so now my theme provider.tsx is ready. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just copy all the things from here, nothing else. So that's it. I'm copying here, is coming from the Next themes, that's provider and Next theme provider, and the type is theme provider props. So after that, you see, it's just exporting the theme provider. So what I'm gonna do, actually I can just pretty much, if you just go that, just do that in that way, it will work just fine. Okay, either way, you just write the way it with the RFC and other portion, because it's just exporting a function which is the theme provider and getting a children as the props. So now we have the theme provider. Now we need to put the theme provider in our layout file. So this is our layout. So after, you just remember that it's after the body. Okay, so after the body, I'm gonna cut everything and I'm gonna pass that a theme provider. And now there is some default value, attribute the class, default is the themes and other things. So I'm gonna give same as it as usual. And after doing that, you see, okay, cannot read properties of undefined reading call. So we are missing something somewhere. Okay, that's the theme provider. Let's go to shadcn UI. Okay, theme provider. Just try to save it here again. Okay, I think it's all right. Yeah, it's just getting a bit of time to reconcile that one. So let's go back to header. So now here our button will appear, right? So first again, let's look back what is saying in shadcn UI. So we are pushing that theme provider. Now we need to get that button, right? If we click in dark, light, and it will take also the system. So this is the button we need to implement. First I need to get the code. So there is the thing is as the drop down menu. So we need to get the drop down menu from here because we are going to use it. So this is the drop down menu it will be. So to implement that drop down menu, we will go with that npx shadcn UI at latest add drop down menu. So let's go here and paste it here. So now it will install that drop down menu in our application. As you see, it's installing, and now there is a new folder is appearing called UI, and that drop down menu gonna be here in that UI. So it's gonna install all the required dependencies for that. As you see, it's using that Redux UI and other things. So that's our drop down menu is ready. So now we can actually use it here. And how we gonna do that? Let's go back to our application. So this is the code is providing from here. So what I'm gonna do, and also I believe we need to implement that button. Yeah, we need to also implement another thing because as you see, we have the drop down, then we have the button. So let's just go and bring the button. And to implement the button, the same line of code we need to exercise, and I'm gonna run that command again in my terminal. So it will give me that button, and after giving that button, of course it will also coming through in that UI layer. And I will take a file here in the components. So let's create a file. It will be theme button or toggle button, whatever the things you want to put, that you can put it. So now what I need to do, I need to go through that the previous one, which is giving me all the code, required code. So here is the theming portion. So I need to get those things. Okay, so let's go and import that one. So I'm importing that React and moon icon and sun icon Redux from the Redux UI because it's already installed that Redux UI. shadcn is actually using that Redux UI here, and I have the button in that components UI button and the drop down menu. So everything is on the side, and also I need to use that to set the theme. So now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just copy this portion and now just paste it here. Okay, so now this is ready. So what I need to do, I'm gonna remove that and I'm gonna just get my theme button. That's it. So now let's go back to our application. As you see, okay, just give it a time. As you see, by default is taking the system requirements. If I click, it's giving me a drop down. I can choose the light one, and again I can choose the system, I can choose the dark. It depends on the mode I want to prefer. So now our header is almost complete. So what we need to do it here, I'm gonna go through and create all the pages first, then I'm gonna come and create that. So let's see where we are. We are in that ls. So let's go cd src. Okay, cd app. Okay, so now we are inside the app, and we have that other thing. So I'm gonna make that make dear, and what we have that about services, okay, scr services. Then we have the experience and contract, experience and the contact. So as you see, we have all the pages is ready. I'm gonna just create that tsx rafce. Okay, it will be about page. Okay, so now if I click on that about portion, it will take me to that about page. As you see, that about page is coming. If we click in the home, it will take me to the home. So now I'm gonna just arrange a bit so that we're gonna actually understand the things. So now whenever I'm hovering, remember we are actually getting something and it's not working. Remember we took we give a background color, but if I just make that color for the dark mode, like beige white, now you're gonna see it gonna appear. As you see, That's nicely done now. So now we need to render the condition, because whenever page we are, like if we're in the about page, it will be highlighted as the about. If we're in the home page, it should be highlighted at the home page. Okay, so let me close the other things which is not required. I'll just make it as a bigger. Okay, so before getting the condition, we need to catch the path, right? So to implement that, I'm gonna use that variable path name, and we're gonna use that from the use path name, and it's gonna import from the next navigation. Don't import it from the next router, it will not work. You need to import it from the next navigation. Now let's just see how actually thing is happening. So I'm gonna make that log, and I'm gonna console that path name. Whenever you're using that path name, and then you need to make that entire component as the use client, because it's gonna fetch the client side portion and to give you that actual path name. So now if we go back to the console, as you see, if we go back to the about, we're getting the /about. If we go back to the home, we're getting that home router. So now actually we can catch that one. And how we can catch? So we are getting all the paths in that path name, so we're gonna write that condition over here. And first condition we're gonna write in this portion. Okay, so I'm gonna just cut it. Okay, I'm gonna use backtick. And now first thing first, let's get the condition. If the path name equal to, because we're gonna get that path name, it will match with that href, right? That's the path name is matching. So whenever it's matching, we're gonna just change the color and the background color, whatever you want to prefer. If that path name is getting with that href, and then the text, oops, need to get the clone, sorry, text blue 600. And as you see, home is actually effective and the about is effective. And now here we can also do the same thing for that, but I'm gonna remove that background color from here because I'm gonna render it conditionally whenever I need. So first thing first, again do the same thing, use the backtick, and now I'm gonna run that condition. Okay, so that condition, it will be path name is equal to item.href, oops, href, then it gonna give a class name, and if not href, then it gonna give a class name. So first, if that going to that perfect href, we're gonna give a background color which will be bj blue of 600, and also whenever it's gonna be dark, also it's gonna be bj blue of 600, and translate x, it will be 0. And now if it's not actually active, so it will be bj, the background, it will be black, and for the dark it will be bj, it will be white. So let's save it and go back to our application. As you see, that is working perfectly. So now let's work a bit with our actual application here. First, I'm gonna create a container. Now there is a very important thing what I want to show you. As you see in the lib, it's already created a folder with the utilities. There is using that tmerge to create the class name from the clx value to get the conditionally. That cn function we can use now to render our class name conditionally wherever we actually need it. Okay, so first let's go inside the components. Let's create a file which name is that container.tsx rafce. So now this is our container. Now we can use that container to make so many things to happen. First, this is gonna take a like two variable. One is the children and another is the class name. And what it's gonna do, it's gonna render everything as a children, and also in that div we're gonna put that class name for that. So the class name, of course, we're gonna use that cn value, and then we're gonna give the default variable which gonna be max with screen axle, and also it will be mx auto, and in axle it will be px. Okay, padding in x-axis by default we're gonna give a I think 4, and whenever is axle it will be 0, and padding in y-axis it's gonna be 10. So now there is a error from coming from the TypeScript, so we just need to get the int props. I'm gonna put that as a props, and that, oops, it will be children, and that children it's coming from react.react. I think the node it will appear, yeah, the node. And then the class name it just simply coming as a string. So now I'm gonna pass that as props. As you see, our error is gone, everything looking fine. And also we need to do another thing, is that we need to pass the other class name, whatever the class name we want to pass. And maybe there will be class name or maybe not, so we're just gonna be rendering a condition. If only the class name is available, then it's gonna show that string variable. Otherwise the class name it may not be there, so that don't worry about it. So now let's go back to our home, which is that / home, like our main part. Now here what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna call our container. So let's call that container. Okay, so let's import it from the container. Okay, now in the container I'm gonna pass a p tag, which are gonna be like, oops, it will call that home page to see the home page. So if we in the home, as you see, we're getting that max width and also the MX auto in a very decent way. So after giving that, I'm gonna use another p tag, just use a lorem text just to show the text is appearing. And let's just generate some more text here, lorem 2, 3, whatever the things you want to write. As you see, that looks good. So now for that p tag, I'm gonna just render some class name to make it looks better. And that class name it will be like the text, it will be LG, and also tracking I'm gonna give as white. Okay, and also in the top layer on the container, because we can now pass the class name here, so I'm gonna make it flex, and also the flex in column, and the gap it gonna be 3. So now that is our component portion. So now this home page, actually this title we're gonna use in a separate portion. So what I'm gonna do, inside that component I'm gonna take a file called title.tsx rafce. So now in the title we're gonna take several variable, and that title it first, I think we're gonna take that title value, and then we're gonna take the children value, and instead of the div I'm gonna just get that h1 value, and that h1 will render that the title. Okay, that's not will be the children, it will be class name. Okay, so now of course with the similar things which we have been done before, we need to pass the props to define the class name. So the props is here, and also we need to define here the other class name, which gonna be gonna be coming from that. We're gonna use that cn to render with the condition. First it gonna take the default one to Axel, and the font it gonna be bold. Okay, and after that if we want to pass any of the class name, it gonna ensure that class name to be applied there. So instead of this home page, I'm gonna just cut it. I'm gonna get the title itle. Okay, that's gonna coming from the component, and inside here on the title I'm gonna pass the value, and as you see our home page is perfectly ready. So now in the about page I'm gonna do the same. So what I'm gonna do, actually remember this container, I'm gonna just copy that full container, and here I'm gonna paste it. Okay, so now I need to import this thing container, I need to import that title, so it will be about page, and let's go back to our about page. Okay, nothing is appealing here. What's wrong? It just give a reload. So this is our home page, this is our about page. In the similar way we can go back to create our service page and other things. Just copy that, go back to the contact, and I'm gonna create all the pages. So page.tsx. okay, rafce is, it will be contact page, and I'm gonna just paste it here, and we need to import this to value. Okay, so that will be my contact page. Okay, so it will appear in the contact page. As you see, that looks fine. So now I will create all other pages. So now I have created all the pages here. So if I just change the pages value, as you see, I'm now in the about, now in the services pages. If I change the light theme, as you see, the text is changing and other things also changing. Also in my home is working fine. So let's just open and implement that image here. So I have one image in my public folder, which is bg.jpg. So I'm gonna use that image of like in the container, not in the container, after the container, on that layer, and that image gonna come from that image tag from the Next.js. And now let's give the source, and I call that image as bg. So let's get it imported from there. So import bg from, so I'm gonna just get through my public folder and get that one. And now also I need to put an alternative tag, which gonna be bg image. And now save it. Let's see if anything appearing. Okay, you see the image is here. So I'll just make it a bit of fly. Okay, let's just give the full width, and the height I'm gonna give as 800 pixel, and object cover. Okay, so our image is there. So if I change the theme as the dark, you see it's perfectly visible. So now you can create lots of other containers, components and everything, and you can make it more nice, more especially elaborate in a perfect way. And as you see, you can use so many components from here, and also so many variable other things is free, because you are going to own your own code. As you see, if in the UI you want to change, you can change anything you want. And also if you want to change the theme color, it's very simple. You just need to go to the app. Inside the app, in the global CSS, you need to define the base color, secondary color, or muted color, whatever the color you want for, because by default it's gonna take in the road as the light theme. Then you need to maintain the dark theme portion. And if you go with the tailwind.config.ts, as you see, is also implementing here. So this is a very simple eruption. If you want to actually make your application look perfect with the theming, you can just use that shadcn UI. I feel it much more promising. And now also let's just change the title, because we did so many things. So we will change the title here also. And to change the title on our application in the layout, remember this is responsible to get the default title. So I'm gonna just paste that one, and as you see, that is now applying over here. So now we create that application. Let's just make it inside the Git, because we want to make it as live. How we can do that? Okay, so to implement that one, first thing first, we need to initialize that. Let's see where we are. We are inside the app. So cd dot cd dot oops, it will be cd dot. So let's see, ls, we are now in the main. So first thing first, what you need to do, we need to initialize the Git here, git init, then git add dot, and git commit, and it's gonna be initial commit. So now what we need to do, we need to go to our GitHub account. So if you doesn't have the GitHub account, it's very simple to open. Just you need to have an email and go through the proceeding to just create a new account here. So now I will create that as theme test. Okay, so now let's create that repository, as you see. So now we need to just remotely connect that repo to our application. And now here I'm gonna put that git push u origin, and because I'm using the master branch, so it's gonna be master branch. So now after doing that one, we're gonna get that application here, and I'm gonna implement that one in Netlify. And also you can use the Vercel if you like. So to get a Netlify account, you can just go through that, sign up with that with the GitHub. It's very simple. So now over here, after sign up or every other things, when you log in, you're gonna get this portion here. First, let's see if everything is coming in our repo. So repo is good, we got the code. So now in here, we need to add a website, and it's import an existing project, and it's gonna come deploy with the GitHub. Now there is other thing, GitLab, Gitbucket, and Azure DevOps. So we'll go with that, deploy with GitHub. Of course, it's gonna get authorized by the GitHub. So now we're gonna search here. It will be theme test. The search if our, okay, I think I missed the name. It will be theme test. Okay, we'll get it, of course. Now as you see, our application is here. So let's go back and let's go inside of it. So now we're gonna implement this. So I'm just gonna go with the default behavior. I'm gonna not change anything whatever the Netlify is providing. So it's pretty much simply just same of the Vercel, whatever Vercel is doing. So now site deploy is progressing. Let's see how it's progressing now. So as you see, it's giving the log and it's gonna get step by step. I think it's maintaining the 5 steps. First one is that initializing the project, then is building, deploying, cleanup, and post-processing. So we complete the first one. Initializing is actually perfectly done, so we have no issue here. And now see our building. So okay, we up. Okay, now it's still in progress. Okay, building is failed. What's wrong? Let's see. Okay, public dot okay, what's wrong? Okay, it's mentioning that sharp image or some other things, so we need to use that npm I sharp, and Next.js will use automatically for image optimization. So let's try that if it actually is working. Okay, we're gonna npm install that one, and actually let's go back to like npm, and I want to see what that sharp is doing here. Okay, that's the sharp, and it's using for the image optimization. Okay, I think it's using that resizing the application and other things. Okay, let's install that and then try. After installing, did you need to do anything? Okay, oh okay, it's gonna use automatically. So I think in the production, okay, npm I sharp, okay, it will use automatically. So let's just install that and then we're gonna push that in our GitHub. I think it will be fine with that. So I'll close my terminal here. Okay, so it's already added. Let's see the git status. Okay, git add dot and git commit, which is that sharp added, and we'll make that git push again. So now we are pushing that in our repository here in that GitHub. So as you see, if we refresh, we're gonna have that our new commit, which is sharp added. So now this one also it's gonna implement here. So let's just refresh here and see is it taking or not. Okay, I think it's gonna take that new building application. So now here what I'm gonna do, okay, okay, we're gonna just try it again to commit, like implement that one. Okay, now this is the new one, and I believe it's everything gonna be all right. Let's try and see. Okay, what's the message? Okay, it's already published because it's automatically taking that one and it's published here. Yeah, that sharp is, I think that is working under the hood. So let's go open the production deploy. I think it's gonna appear. Oh, okay, it's here. Okay, so we no need to use that redeploy if you are, because it's automatically taking that deployment. It's already published automatically, so I'm just running that one as my fault. And of course it's gonna also give the same thing. So this is the published one. As you see, we just use that sharp and it's gonna just rendering the image portion. Let's see if our themes is working or not. Okay, that's perfect. That looks good. And you can do one thing. As you see, whenever you are just making that, your header is just going also up. If you want to make your header sticky, you just need to run this few commands in your command line, and it's gonna be like, if I want to that npm run deb, it's gonna open in my local host. So in here in your header, what you need to do is that this one, you just need to make that sticky, and top 0 and z indexed as 50. So now what it's gonna do, the header, it will always stick to the top. It will not go beyond on that. So okay, Okay, let's go to the home. Okay, no, it's not working, so let's just hit refresh again. It should work. So we are making that sticky top 0, set index as 50, and we are doing it in the header. Let's save it again. Okay, we'll try why it's not working. Or instead of giving it here, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just, I don't want to keep it here, I'll give it here. Okay, let's see. Now you see, actually it's working. It's working fine, but it's not getting that portion of jet index because it doesn't have any background. So let's just give a background of white, and in the dark the background it will be black. Okay, now see, that looks clear and perfect. Okay, so that's your application. And also, if you just want to see it in your live server, you just need to put that git add dot, and the similar way git commit and it will be header sticky modified. Okay, and then you need to make that git push. So now if we roll back to our application, which actually the deployed one, as you see, that's working also perfectly, and you can also toggle through the theme. So I think it's really be helpful for you to create the theming convention. So hope you good luck, and we'll see you in the next video.